to have you with us, sir.
Yeah, Vince, it's great to be with you, and I can't believe we have to talk about this. Can you believe our White House disgracing our nation and flying this pride flag between Old Glory, clearly violating what the American Legion flag rules are on how to display the American flag? No one died for the pride flag. No one died for that flag. I'm a veteran. My father, my brother served. My son is serving. Anyone who served in the military is insulted. Anyone whose father, mother, brother, sister, child served in the military should also be insulted by this disgraceful act by the White House.
Yeah, and it doesn't represent Americans. That's the thing, too. It's almost like a middle finger to normal people everywhere, sir.
Well, that's what it looked like. You talk about your contributor mentioned the way this flag looked. It was very much a phallic symbol and just a disgrace. That just shows who this White House is. They put their own woke agenda ahead of patriotism, ahead of the Constitution, ahead of the American flag. And I tell you what, my dad is so upset. My brother's so upset about this. All the veterans back home are just beside themselves over this.
We've heard a lot from Joe Biden, including in his inaugural address, that he was looking to restore the soul of the nation, that he was going to bring decency back to the White House. It's a little insane to look back on that message and then see the events of this weekend, for instance.
Yeah, he is the great divider. He governs like he's the king of the Green Socialist Party, and that we are his servants, right? They want to tell us where we can worship, when we can and cannot worship. They want to tell us we have to get a vaccine. Our kids can't go to school. We've never seen such a power grab as we have from this president, constantly attacking our Second Amendment, constantly attacking our American civil rights.
Yeah, it's just really, what's animating all of this, do you think? Why does the White House feel so comfortable with these very debasing displays and parties and celebrations at the White House that offend so many?
Well, Vince, I don't know. I get that question a lot at my town halls. What was Joe Biden thinking when he did something or other?
Right.
But if I could communicate one thing to your audience is, why won't he fix the open border? He wants an open border. Why does he let gasoline get to $5 a gallon? He wants $5 a gallon gasoline. And part of it is what I call the chaos theory. He wants us to be looking at all these other things. Meanwhile, he's going to take away school lunches from our students if they don't have a transgender bathroom and don't allow boys to compete in girls' sports. So he's doing lots of things that it's hard to keep up with. So he likes this chaos, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then they criticize states who try and stand up to it. So you have a number of Republican legislatures across the country who are saying, hey, look, I don't want the children to be sexually mutilated and sterilized. We're going to stop this. You can't do this to kids. And now you've got the federal government acting as if that's some sort of atrocity or war crime. And obviously that's all a big predicate to more federal government control of everything.
Right. So, another, for instance, in the state of Oklahoma, they are going to punish, if the state of Oklahoma does not provide some type of brochure on where you can go get an abortion, they're going to take away what's called Title X funding, which is for health departments. They're going to, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to take away school lunches if you don't have a transgender policy that they like as well. So they are constantly attacking us. This week we're putting on the floor our anti-pistol brace legislation that Joe Biden wants to take away pistol braces, for crying out loud. So he's constantly attacking something. What I would consider is the most anti-constitutional president we've ever seen. Maybe, I don't know, there's even anybody in the same chapter of this book when it comes to attacking our Constitution. He wants to appropriate $400 billion for student loans to pay back people's student loans. So it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Let me return to the issue of the American flag, because I know this week you're trying to advance some legislation to protect its rightful place on government property. For instance, one of the things that's happening is not just the White House where this occurred over the weekend. The White House is marking so-called Pride Month, and it's not about pride in America. It's about pride in sexual identities, as varied as they might be. And they're flying these flags at embassies around the world. I should point out, much more frequently in majority Christian nations than they are flying them in majority Muslim nations, where they don't fly these rainbow or various colored flags all over the place. How is it that the White House has this much open discretion to fly, basically left-wing political activism flags wherever it feels like?
Well, I think they're doing things we never thought anyone would consider doing, and that's why we're introducing legislation. If we need to put guardrails around Joe Biden, that's what we're going to do. So that's why we're introducing this One Flag for All Act, that only the American flag should ever be displayed at a federal building. Now, there's exceptions, but those exceptions would be a POW flag, or maybe there's a foreign dignitary coming into this country. Maybe it's a military flag. But the One Flag for All Act, what it clearly says is the American flag is the only flag that will be displayed on federal property. So if we have to babysit him with all these types of rules, and that's what we're going to do. But we're not going to allow him to continue to disgrace all of America with pride flags.
Sure. I mean, I don't remember voting on which flags were going to go up on any of these buildings. I assumed because it's I'm contributing some money. We all pitch in for this, that these government buildings should represent our shared interest. That's the American flag. I would be horrified if a Planned Parenthood flag was raised over one of these buildings, if a BLM flag was raised over one of these buildings. Why are we raising flags dedicated to hurting our children? Why is that happening?
Right, and I sit there and hate to pick winners and losers. Would you display a Girl Scouts flag but not a Boy Scout flag? I mean, where does it stop? So again, we died. Americans have died for that flag and to protect this Constitution. They died for the American flag, obviously. No one died for the pride flag. We died for the American flag, this republic, this Constitution that we believe in as well. And to your point, we also paid for that flag in many ways as well.
Yes.
So let's honor America. Let's be Americans first, and give America and this republic the respect that it deserves. The people that have given their own blood, their own treasure to defend the republic, to protect our freedoms as well. Fly what you want to at home, but on a federal building, it should be Old Glory.
Now, are you going to get any support for this? Obviously, my guess is Chuck Schumer, unfortunately, is not going to go for it, and I wonder about Mitch McConnell. What's happening here?
Well, that's a good question. We're just, like I said, we're going from one crisis to another right now. We just got through the budget crisis. And then we're on to the next crisis du jour as well. So who would know? But we're putting them on notice. Today's Flag Day, a day to celebrate Old Glory, 1776. The Congress made this the official 1777, a year after the Constitution. They made June 14th the official Flag Day for America. So we just felt like, well, this is the right time to drop this. Let's get to work, and we'll see what happens. This should be able to pass by unanimous consent on the Senate floor, so we're going to find out.
Yeah, I sure hope so. That'd be good. Lastly, sir, because you handle the budget as well, are we going to get any spending cuts this year as these appropriations bills come up and these battles over the budget, or is that all a foregone conclusion thanks to the debt ceiling fight?
Wow, I mean, I wish I could sit here and fib to you and say maybe we could, but I'm very pessimistic. As a matter of fact, we got folks on my own side of the aisle that are already asking for another $50 billion. There's going to be another Ukraine package as well. Look, we're going to add $2 to $3, maybe $4 trillion, as many as $4 trillion to our national debt over the next 2 years, just at the current level. Only in Washington, D.C. would borrowing $4 trillion from your grandchildren be described as a budget cut. So it's right. We decreased it from $6 to $4 trillion. We'll see. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker McCarthy over on the House side, is talking about trying to come up with some more cuts. There is plenty of waste in every agency at the federal government. Every agency has tons of waste. We got to figure out how to balance this budget. The $32 trillion now national debt, the number one threat to our national security, to our economy, to infrastructure. to schools of the future as well. So we have to address this problem, and I'm willing to take it head on.
Yes, and it's the kind of thing that funds pride flags being raised at federal government buildings. That should be defunded. I know it's not going to change much about the budget, but it'll be wholesome for the culture. The kind of thing that leads to, to IRS agents being enhanced by tens of thousands of people, designed not to go after the rich, but instead the American middle class. That's the kind of thing we need to get rid of. It's good for the American people. And it seems like, and it's so frustrating to watch a budget battle play out, and then the American people come out on the losing end.
Yeah, it does. There was a lot of talk, and at the end of the day, very disappointed. That's why I voted against the bill. Again, we're going to end up borrowing $2 to $4 trillion more over the next 2 years. We're going to spend $650 billion on interest alone this year.
Yeah.
So as interest rates go up, that's going to be creeping to $1 trillion. We soon will be spending more on interest than we do the entire military, just to put it in perspective as well. We have to get control of the budget today, yesterday, and that's why I'm willing to shut the government down. That's really why I was willing to go through this theoretical budget ceiling as well. It is absolutely the most threatening issue facing America today is our long-term national debt.
Yeah, absolutely. Senator Marshall, we have to have you back to talk about that subject. It's so important, and I really appreciate your time today on this Flag Day. Thank you, sir.